Excuse me, bro. Quick question for you, man. Is this your Lamborghini?
Yeah, this is mine.
How are you able to afford a Lamborghini out in Miami, Florida?
I've been an entrepreneur for the past decade. I've started and scaled quite a bit of companies, and I now manage with my team about 800 e-commerce stores on Amazon.
What has been the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
Yeah, my company, we've done a little over $35 million in the past year. We're valued at about 140 million right now. So that's the funny thing, you know, like people always ask, how much money do you make? But at the end, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And number two, it's not just about what's your cash flow, it's what's the valuation. Because a lot of people just think like, oh, I want to make 100 grand a month, but they don't think in 3 years, I want to exit for 100 million. Because you would give up 100K a month if you could know in 3 years you're going to sell for 100, 200 million, right? So it's a little bit of a different mindset shift in running a business.
When it comes to the way that people look at money, what would you say is the biggest difference that separates the middle class from the wealthy?
Well, besides the hard work and like going out and taking risk and making things happen, I've seen it, and it's their belief systems. So what you believe to be true is what manifests into your life, right? So when I was young, I didn't think having a Lamborghini was crazy. I didn't think making millions of dollars was crazy. That was not the reality I put inside my head. Now, most of society puts this traditional box system of I got to go to college, make 100 grand a year, and that's their belief system. So anything outside of that, like making millions of dollars, becomes a very hard reality for them to understand. And so if you can just see money from a different viewpoint and not have any emotion towards it, all of a sudden you'll see how much easier it is, because it's not being put on a pedestal and you're not like, oh, it's so hard to get. It just becomes your everyday life.
What's been the best financial advice that you ever received throughout your lifetime that you'd pass on to the younger generation today?
Well, specifically for young people, it's the power of the compounding effect, right? Specifically, what one of my mentors has helped me set up is called overfunded whole life insurance policies, where you actually get to become your own bank. In a sense, you invest money into the market, you get it to compound, but then you can actually take collateralized debt against it tax-free. And so instead of just using your money once, like buying a Lamborghini, you put it in an IUL first, and then you actually get to pull out 80 to 90% LTV on that loan. And then your money still sits in there and compounds. And so setting that up, I think, is really important. And then you can start doing other fun, crazy shit like buying Lamborghinis.
I love it. You've got a beautiful Lamborghini Aventador right here. What would you say to someone out there who's aspiring to own a car like this their own someday?
But you need to learn how to stay optimistic through the failures, because you will fail way more than you win. And a lot of times those failures start getting to your head and you eventually quit because you don't think that this is right for you. When I was 18 years old, I remember I was driving to Las Vegas. I'll tell you a quick story. I was driving to Las Vegas with my family. I decided not to go to college, and they had told me, because I was looking at these deserted houses out there, I said, man, who would ever live out there? They said, Ryan, if you don't go to college, you're gonna live out there one day. And I remember envisioning me one day traveling, living the life of my dreams, driving a Ferrari, and I had absolutely no idea how I was gonna get there, but I just knew it. I truly, truly believed it. And so the funny thing when I got this Lamborghini is I was on a business trip in Vegas, and there was this full circle moment where I remembered when I was 18, and so I went to this exotic dealer, and I was gonna buy a Ferrari, but there was just too good of a deal on this Aventador, which is also, you know, something I've been wanting. So I said, fuck it, let's buy it. And now my 18-year-old self is like, fuck yeah, Ryan, we did it. You know what I mean? And final thing, you need to learn how to sell. Without sales, there is no money, right? Sales at the end of the day is taking one piece of value that you might have and someone paying money for it. That's all it is. It's not hard at all. For instance, there's a kid behind me. He wants to sell me on listening to one of his rap songs. Now, am I in the mood for rap right now? I actually am. So I'm gonna pay him for the value that he's gonna bring me. So you have to learn how to sell value that people will pay big money for.